Good evening and welcome. We begin tonight with a disturbing series of headlines from across the country, from federal threats to chilling murder cases. Here's your top news for today. Our first story takes us to Minneapolis. A 52-year-old man, Michael Lewis, is now facing federal charges after allegedly threatening to kill a sitting member of the United States Congress. According to court documents, Lewis left a voicemail with the Congresswoman's office, threatening her life. He now faces one count of threatening to murder a U.S. official, and one count of interstate transmission of threats. Acting U.S. Attorney Lisa Kirkpatrick issued a sharp response, saying, "Federal law protects our elected officials from this sort of violent, unhinged, and murderous rhetoric. It is entirely unacceptable." The FBI echoed the sentiment. Special Agent Alvin Winston Sr. stated, "Threatening to kill a member of Congress is not protected speech. It is a federal crime that will be met with immediate and decisive action." Lewis appeared in U.S. District Court on Friday and will remain in custody until his arraignment on April 23rd. Next to New Mexico, where a Farmington man has been sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for his role in a brutal killing on the Navajo Nation. 40-year-old Tyron Begay, an enrolled member of the Navajo Nation, was convicted for helping to confine, torture, and ultimately kill a man referred to as John Doe in February 2020. Court documents detail how Begay and two others, Camille Damon and Ronald Ballone, bound and beat the victim before leaving him in freezing conditions near Smith Lake. There is no parole in the federal system. Begay will also face 5 years of supervised release after his sentence. Damon and Ballone remain in custody as they await trial. Now to Chicago, where a woman has been charged in the murder of a mute man battling lung cancer. Catherine Perry, 34, is facing charges of first-degree murder and attempted arson in the killing of 61-year-old Tony Landers, whose body was discovered in his South Shore apartment. Tony's sister, Kim Landers, was his caretaker. She described the heartbreaking moment she found his body. "I see a red footprint, then another, and then I seen my brother laying there, blood all over the door." Tony had been mute since losing his larynx to cancer in 2022. His family says he was too weak to defend himself, making the crime all the more devastating. Authorities believe Perry knew the victim. A motive has not yet been released, and Perry remains in custody after a court appearance Friday. In Waukegan, Illinois, a man has been charged in a bizarre and chilling case of body concealment. Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, 52, was arrested after police discovered the body of Megan Boss, 37, inside a storage container in his backyard. Boss had been missing since March 9th. According to police, Mendoza Gonzalez claimed she overdosed in his home and that he panicked, hiding her body in the basement, then transferring it to the container. He also allegedly destroyed her phone to avoid detection. A coroner's report found no signs of trauma, but toxicology testing is ongoing. Despite the seriousness of the charges, a judge released Mendoza Gonzalez under pre-trial monitoring, citing his clean criminal history. Finally to Utah, where a woman is accused of killing her sleeping husband and then attempting to cover it up with the help of her parents. Jennifer Gledhill, a mother of 3, is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Matthew Johnson, who vanished last September. 2 days before his disappearance, Gledhill allegedly texted her father urgently asking for $13,000. That same week, Johnson was last seen alive. An informant told authorities that Gledhill admitted to shooting Johnson in the head while he slept, then burying his body in a shallow grave. Authorities have not yet recovered his body, but Gledhill is facing 9 felony charges. She has pleaded not guilty and has been denied bail. These are some of the disturbing stories unfolding across the nation. St. Petersburg, Florida, where a man has been charged with one of the most horrific crimes we've reported this year. Stephen Gress, now in custody, is accused of kidnapping, torturing, murdering, and dismembering 16-year-old Miranda Corsett. According to a search warrant obtained by authorities, Gress allegedly held the teen captive for nearly a week, during which he repeatedly beat her and documented her injuries in photographs. Disturbingly, Gress sent these images, depicting Corsette naked, bruised and swollen, to two men and his own mother. In the final image, the victim was reportedly unrecognizable. Even more horrifying, Gress confessed to police that both he and his girlfriend, Michelle Brandes, murdered the teen and dismembered her body, before throwing the remains in a dumpster. The motive? Gress claimed Corsette stole a ring, a story later disputed by witnesses. One witness, a friend of the couple, told investigators that Brandes was the one who stole the ring out of jealousy, and it was found only after Corsette's death. Brandes is accused of suffocating Miranda by stuffing a pool ball in a sock down her throat and wrapping her face in plastic. Gress told police he tried to poke holes in the plastic, but it was too late. Following the killing, the couple allegedly went out to play mini-golf and get Popeye's chicken to celebrate Brandes' birthday, while Corsette's body sat in the trunk. Both Gress and Brandes face murder and kidnapping charges. Despite being informed of her son's actions, Gress's mother, Jacqueline Christic, reportedly never contacted the police. She has not been charged. Philadelphia Uber driver 77 shot and killed in ambush. This story comes from Philadelphia, where a 77-year-old Uber driver was gunned down while picking up a passenger. Olatunji W. Balaji, a beloved father from Norristown, was parked outside Biblos Hookah Bar in the early hours of April 15 when tragedy struck. As his 22-year-old passenger entered the vehicle, two men emerged from a vehicle behind and opened fire, shooting at least 4 times. Balaji was hit in the head. His passenger was shot multiple times in the arm, leg, and stomach. Though Balaji managed to drive away briefly, he crashed soon after. Emergency responders pronounced him dead at the scene. His passenger remains in critical condition. According to investigators, the attack may have stemmed from a physical altercation moments before the shooting. Police believe someone inside the vehicle was targeted, though the motive remains unclear. Authorities are searching for the suspects, last seen driving a Jeep Grand Cherokee with Massachusetts plates. A $20,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. Uber has issued a statement, expressing heartbreak and pledging full cooperation with law enforcement in the wake of what they called a heinous act of violence. These cases are reminders of the darkness that can sometimes hide behind closed doors or everyday rides. We'll continue to follow both stories as more details emerge. Stay with us for updates. And remember, if you see something, say something. Today, we're revisiting one of the darkest days in American history, the Oklahoma City bombing. It's been 30 years since this horrific act of domestic terrorism took 168 lives and injured over 600 others. This presentation will walk through what happened, who was responsible, and how the city responded with extraordinary courage and unity. At 9:02 a.m., a Ryder truck packed with 2,000 pounds of explosives was detonated outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. The blast instantly collapsed the north side of the building, killing over 150 people instantly and injuring hundreds more. Among the dead were 19 children in a daycare center inside the building. The bombing was carried out by Timothy McVeigh, a former Army sergeant and Gulf War veteran, along with his co-conspirator Terry Nichols. Their motive? A deep hatred of the federal government, intensified after events like the Waco siege and Ruby Ridge. They believed the attack would ignite a larger uprising against the U.S. government. McVeigh was arrested just 90 minutes after the bombing, not for the bombing but for driving without a license plate and possessing an unregistered firearm. Within days, he was connected to the Ryder truck used in the attack. Nichols was arrested shortly afterward. Their accomplice, Michael Fortier, knew about the plan but did not participate directly. In total, 168 people were killed and over 684 injured. The victims came from all walks of life: parents, children, federal employees, and citizens going about their day. The bombing left a permanent scar, both physically and emotionally, on the city and the nation. In the face of unimaginable loss, Oklahoma City came together. First responders, citizens, and volunteers rushed to help. As Kari Watkins, CEO of the Oklahoma City National Memorial and Museum put it, "We were defined not by the tragedy, but by the tenderness of the response." This spirit of unity became a lasting legacy of that day. Today, the Oklahoma City National Memorial stands where the Murrah Building once stood. It honors the victims, survivors, and all who were affected. And now, 3 decades later, a new Netflix documentary, Oklahoma City Bombing American Terror, brings fresh voices and first-hand accounts to light, ensuring this story is never forgotten. The Oklahoma City bombing was an act of unimaginable hatred, but it also sparked incredible acts of heroism, compassion, and unity. As we look back 30 years later, we remember not just the tragedy, but the resilience of a community that stood strong together. Thank you for listening. Let us continue to learn from history and honor the lives that were lost by standing against hatred and violence in all forms.